Hey everybody, this is Christopher Small from CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we do it well. Today, I want to talk to you about whether or not testamentary trusts are a scam. Before we get there, as always, if you have a question, if you need to talk more, if you need help, if you don't have an estate plan and you think you might want one, please go to estatemeeting.com and set up a time to speak with me. It's free, 30 minutes over the phone or in person, estatemeeting.com. Right. Now, testamentary trusts, are they a scam? Before we get there, let's talk about what a testamentary trust is. Testamentary trust is basically a trust that is created inside of a will. So you would have your will, you name your personal representative, you name your long-term guardians, if you have kids that are under 18, and then you have the section where you tell the world where you want everything to go. And in a typical will, it would say, I want everything to go to my kids equally. I want I want 50 grand to go to Aunt Susie. I want the house in Florida to go to Uncle Joe. I don't know. With a testamentary trust, however, what you say is, I want everything to go into this trust that I'm creating, and then you would basically list out all of the trust provisions like you would if you created a trust right now, but except that it's inside of the will. And the reason why I posed the question to you whether or not testamentary trusts are a scam is because one of the overriding functions, I guess one of the benefits of creating a revocable living trust right now is that you can avoid probate, which is what a lot of people are trying to do. A lot of people that come into my office and are interested in trust planning, the reason they're interested in trust planning is to avoid probate. The one thing that you cannot do, it's practically impossible to do if you use testamentary trust, is to avoid probate. Even if you have everything transferring into this trust that you've created in your will via beneficiary designation or transfer on death designation or any other sort of designation, the fact that the trust does not exist almost requires a probate for someone to go and get the tax ID number, to set up the bank accounts and appoint a trustee and do those kinds of things. So the reason I say it might be kind of a scam, or the reason it's a scam. It's not a scam. I don't like them. I don't do them. I think that they are sort of disingenuous because you can create a revocable trust right now and it doesn't require any upkeep. It doesn't require any additional work after you create it. And I think that sometimes attorneys like to push the testamentary trusts because they feel like, or they hope that they'll get to do that probate when the person dies. So that the cat's out of the bag. It's not a scam. Some people like them for some reason. I have been searching for the reason why for a long time, but my philosophy is if you're going to create a trust in your will, you might as well just create it now. You can set it up so that there's no upkeep. You can move everything to the trust after you die, mostly via beneficiary designation, transfer on death designation, things like that. So you can avoid probate. You can have a seamless transition of property to your heirs. You can have oversight if you want and control over those assets. You can sort of do whatever you want inside of that trust. The other downside, by the way, is that if you have a will and you have a trust inside of your will, there's no privacy. So the cool thing, or another benefit of having a revocable living trust that you create while you're alive, is that it's completely private. So when you pass away, the terms of the trust are private, the distributions are private, everything is private. If you have any kind of an estate, this can become important because there is a certain class of people out there that are interested in taking advantage of people that have trusts, whether by becoming friends with them, presenting business opportunities to them, suing them, right? There are all these different ways that this can be done. And if you sort of project out there to the world via your will that you have a trust and who the beneficiaries are and what the terms of the trust are, then if unscrupulous people find that and they are looking, then you can have problems. So, and by the way, to tell you a story about how this even came up, I had someone call me last week to talk to me about probate. And the reason they were calling to talk to me about probate was because they had They had created a testamentary trust with another attorney, several months prior to the date that we talked, and for their mother. They knew that the mom was sick, and she was likely to pass away relatively soon, and that one of the goals was to avoid probate. Yet they still created this testamentary trust, and the person that I talked to wasn't really aware that a probate would be required with this type of trust, and was sort of just not happy with the whole situation. When mom died, they went back to this same attorney who told them, surprise, now we have to do a probate, and you have to pay me some more money for that. And it just left a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth, that whole sequence of events. And so I wanted to come on here and talk to you about what a testamentary trust is, reiterate the fact that you cannot avoid probate with a testamentary trust, and maybe just ask more questions if you are considering a testamentary trust. Ask more questions of your attorney. Just make sure you understand everything that you're doing. At the end of the day, if you want to do one of those, it's fine. It's just important to know all the angles, right? Know all the information and make an informed decision, which is something that I always want to make sure that people are doing. All right, that is it. If you have more questions about this, about anything else, if you don't have an estate plan and you want one, please go to estatemeeting.com, set up a time with me to talk over the phone or in person, 30 minutes, it's free. Estatemeeting.com. Thank you again for your time. If you like this, hit the like button. If you know someone that needs to hear this, share it with them. If you have a question or comment, please leave it. And as always, I'm Christopher Small. I'm the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we do it well. Thank you so much for your time, and I will probably be here again to talk to you tomorrow. Bye.